Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Q&A Wednesdays. So for tonight's topic, it's called The Five Pillars, Your Guide to Optimal Health and Wellness. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you guys our guest for tonight. She's a yogi, actress, and host. Her name is Erika Padilla Carriazo.
Hi, Doc. Good
Hi,
evening.
good evening.
Thank
Of
you for
course,
having me.
of course. We like
I'm
to
very
meet you.
excited.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
very excited. I got to talk to you a couple of days ago, and I'm really excited to be part of this conversation. So it's a very interesting topic to me.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you as one of our
Wow.
influencers.
Thank you so much, Doc. So I heard you will be talking about the five pillars to optimal health and wellness. So I'd really like
Yeah,
to hear more about that, Doc.
sure. Yeah, so this is one of the main concepts behind our practice. It's called the five pillars of optimal health. And basically, it consists of the following: early distress, or I mean, early detection or diagnosis. The second one is early distress or detoxification. The third one is called restore. The fourth one is regeneration. And finally, the fifth one is called maintenance.
Okay, Doc. So five pillars. So how were you
Mhm.
able to come up with this set of pillars that is very important to the practice that you're sharing with people?
Yeah, actually, these five pillars are used by a lot of like biological medicine clinics in Europe. So it's a stepwise way to improve a person's health. Because before you recommend anything, you want to make sure that you have make a correct diagnosis. And it's not enough to do blood tests. We oftentimes do some what we call functional testing. Like we
Right.
hair samples, saliva samples, stool samples. They even check your energy levels through a device called Mediscan.
Yeah,
That's
I was
something.
able to do. Right. I was able to experience that, and it was such a good. Actually, I want to share to everyone watching our webinar. It was such a good experience because it's a natural approach to things. You're not taking too much, but at the same time, you are using technology in a very advanced way to approach health and wellness the natural way.
Yeah.
Do I make sense, Doc?
Yes, it does. Yes. Yeah. So because it's really important to take care of our health and not wait till we get sick and, of course, need treatments. So
Right.
yeah. So the first pillar, like I said, is early detection or diagnosis. First, we come up with a proper working plan for the client, and then second is we do what we call early distress or detoxification. Because some people who just do detox sometimes improve without any further procedures. I'm sure you've done a lot of detox.
Right.
I- Yeah. Yeah. So with detoxification, we have like in-house programs or at the office programs. So in-house are something that things that you could do at home, basically to detoxify yourself. And this may include like skin brushing. I know a lot of what you call this Ayurvedic practices use
Or,
detoxification. Yeah, so there's also breath work. Like I'm sure as a yogini.
yes. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So the
So
third pillar, Doc.
yeah, the third pillar is something we called repair. So during this process, we correct deficiencies or excesses that we find in our initial testing. This may include things like hyperbaric oxygen therapy, infrared sauna, or intravenous nutritional therapies.
And then when we move on to the fourth, when we talk about regenerating,
Yeah, when
what
we
do we
talk,
particular?
yeah, so for regeneration, we may recommend therapies including the use of peptides, frozen cells, or even cell therapy. So this may involve like if you gotta have the fresh cell therapy, that may have to involve you going to Germany to do the treatment. But
Wow.
yeah, the next best thing is what we call fresh cell therapy or
Okay.
frozen cell therapy rather. So basically, these are these are shipped directly to us from the company, and it could be done here in the Philippines. Because one of our partners is called European Wellness Center, and they actually own what we call Villa Medica. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
This thing really is new to me. It's
Oh,
this is something I'm hearing for the first time, Doc.
oh, okay. Yeah, so Villa Medica is a clinic in Germany where some of our famous politicians and actors have gone to do their cell therapy. So we're affiliate clinics with them, with the European Wellness Center.
So that's awesome. And then finally, when we talk about the last pillar, which is sustaining.
Yeah, so basically it's doing the same thing all over again because life is not a straight line. There's ups and downs or it's rhythmic. So we only get
Mhm.
a flat line basically when we're dead. So everything.
But Doc, I have a question because a lot of people, especially this pandemic, I think
Yeah.
one of the good things that came out from here is the fact that people took time to think about how they will be taking care of
Yeah.
their health.
Hmm.
So when they try to approach health and wellness the natural way through a preventive mindset, um, should they be wary about anything? Because of course, a lot of people are used to going through taking care of themselves by taking medications and all that. So,
Yeah.
what should be the mindset people should have when going to your clinic?
Yeah. In this pandemic times, it's really important to take care of our health proactively. So it's important to look or to take care of the basics, things like sleeping, eating well, drinking enough water, getting enough rest and sleep and exercise. So these are basic things that people should do for
Right.
prevention. But with the environment that we have nowadays, it's really important to do other things besides those basic things. And this may involve therapies that we offer at the clinic include detoxification, in which we could do like infrared sauna, IV therapies, and even colonics to get rid of
Mhm.
the toxins in the belly.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So
so
should there go ahead, Doc.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking because a lot of people would normally think that this is something not normal
Mhm,
because it's not something they've been used to doing. So how
mhm.
do we encourage them? How do we encourage them to take a good look on another way of approaching things?
Yeah, it's about really educating the public because it all starts with that. And if
Right.
people if they hear it repeatedly, then eventually they may follow the rules to optimal health and wellness.
I think that's really key, Doc. I think educating more people. Sometimes when you keep on hearing about things from the
Hmm.
news or whatnot, so if you keep on informing them
Hmm.
about things, different
Yeah,
ways of going about procedures and all that therapies, they can consider. Because
yeah.
a lot of people now are into wellness, into
Hmm.
really taking care of themselves. So, Doc, pillars, with the 5 pillars that we have, what is the normal diagnosis or what is normally detected from an average Filipino person?
Yeah,
Ano
open.
yung,
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things that we do at the office is what we call oligoscan. It basically detects for deficiencies in minerals, because mineral deficiencies is really so common because of again poor diet, and it could lead to a lot of symptoms. Like for instance, magnesium deficiency alone could cause hypertension. It could cause fibromyalgia. It could cause depression. So a lot of things could happen with magnesium deficiency, and if we took care of these simple deficiency, it could get rid of a lot of symptoms that we usually just treat with medications.
right. So,
Yeah.
is it very common for a lot of Filipinos to have this kind of deficiency? Ano ba yung mga dapat isipin? Because of course, as Filipinos going into the clinic, a lot of us
Yeah.
watching right now in the webinar, what
Mhm.
what should they be watchful of when taking care of themselves?
Yeah, it's really important to keep in touch with yourself because sometimes we just live through life automatically, but we forget to keep in, what do you call this? Keep in touch with our feelings, with how we function. So oftentimes we only take care of our health once we become symptomatic, and
Right.
to most people.
So you've mentioned a very technical term, a medical term, symptomatic. So
Yeah,
sometimes only when we feel something, that's the
yeah,
only time we react to it.
hmm
So, so I guess a very key lesson here that I really appreciate about your clinic, doc, about J. Lopez Clinic is the fact that there is really a proactive approach in
hmm
taking care, or in terms of wanting to share to the public an approach that is proactive and
yeah,
all about prevention.
exactly. Actually, you mentioned a lot of the 7 P's that's part of our practice. You did mention about preventive, so proactive. Um, um, what else did you say? But you had uh, well, we also have what we call predictive, because we could help predict what is wrong with the person. There's precise, so everything has to be precise. Then we only
Right.
use pharmaceutical grade supplements because, again, the supplement industry is not really regulated. So let's say if you go to uh, Costco or Walgreens, I mean, this back in the US,
Right.
Consumer Reports, because they found out that 75% of the supplements that are sold in commercial establishment don't have the proper labeling. So sometimes you may not get enough of the nutrient, or sometimes it's not there at all. What you're just getting are binders and fillers. So it's really important to know your supplements, read labels, and things like that.
Okay, so it's again, I think the important thing that I'm hearing from what you just said, Doc, is also becoming more self-aware, not
Yeah.
just about not just about your condition or whatnot, everything about your lifestyle really, because
Mhm.
we have been somehow programmed to approach life in a certain way. So like what you've said, when it comes to buying supplements, when it comes to buying maybe your vitamin C or whatnot over the counter, we
Mhm.
just do it automatically without really thinking and without really checking, right?
Mhm.
So that it's also resetting the programming that we've had for a long time.
Exactly. Because one thing I notice is when people do shop, sometimes they just look at the container, the packaging, and I'm guilty
Right.
of that sometimes.
Ako rin, Doc.
We're all guilty.
Yeah, that is true. Because sometimes we kind of want to live our lives out of convenience, out of bliss, quick, easy. So
hmm
I think your services, being reminded of the 5 pillars that the J.
hmm
Lopez Clinic has, also tells us to be mindful of the lives that we're living, not just,
Yeah.
overall, not
hmm
just with the therapies, not just with the services, but the daily lives that we are actually living, so we can really prevent it in a more encompassing way.
Exactly. I agree with that.
So now share with us, what is your favorite out of the services that your clinic has? What is your most favorite?
I really like to do the HBOT, the hyperbaric oxygen therapy, on a regular basis. Because
Right.
when I turned 40, I started experiencing migraine headaches. And once I started doing that, it totally eliminated it. But there are a lot of benefits from hyperbaric oxygen therapy. In fact, Michael Jackson had one in his house because he knew of the anti-aging benefits of HBOT. Yeah,
Afford
that's
naman
true.
kasi kayo lang ni Michael Jackson ang may afford ng hyperbaric, Doc. But we are very lucky, of course, here in the Philippines that you have your clinic to be offered the same kind of service. And I am really very excited. My husband and I are really very excited to experience all of your services. So what else,
Thank
Doc?
you.
In terms of the IV, a lot of people get into IVs and all that. But if there's anything basic that you want to share to everyone watching this webinar, if there's one IV that you can take regularly, what would it
Probably the simplest one, which would be the Myers cocktail, because it has the comprehensive vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other nutrients that would basically address any past possible malady, like for instance,
Right.
hypertension, headaches, fatigue. This is a basic IV drip that would actually address a lot of these things.
You know what, Doc? When I shared with my friends that I'm part of your clinic, I'm actually it feels good because as a you have a different when you talk about the female market also,
Hmm.
iba rin. There's also a lot of things we're dealing with. It's
Hmm.
true that when you step on your 30s, for us, it's a different phase altogether. The
Hmm.
changes in our body, especially when you become a mother. So for the
Hmm.
female audience, for my followers and for the other, for the for the females watching the webinar, what do you advise us to regularly do as part of the routine if when we go to the clinic?
Yeah. Well, women should really be proactive as far as their health is concerned, because some people just rely on reminders from their doctors. But actually, not just women, but also men, we should be proactive in taking care of our health. So for women, they should start at least in their early 20s checking their breast, because
Right.
it takes 10 years to develop cancer. So if you, in order to prevent it, you want to start uh, just checking your breasts out, because before, um, breast cancer was more rampant in the elderly population, but now you could see it in women in their as young as in their mid 20s, and this is because of
That's
all the hormonal imbalances that everybody's experiencing because of all the chemicals from the environment. They act like what we call xenoestrogens. So a lot of these chemicals that are not natural to the body, they could actually cause hormonal imbalances.
so you mentioned doc imbalance. Is there any specific service in the clinic that we should be, we should look forward to
Oh,
taking and
yeah,
regularly using to be able to balance out whatever it is that we need to be on a homeostasis?
yeah.
Homeostasis, doc. Oh, diba?
Yeah, so it all starts with the diet. So, like for women to get rid of excess estrogen, they should eat more of the cruciferous vegetables. These are like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, bok choy, Brussels sprouts. So, to prevent estrogen dominance, which is one of the causes of problems with the breast, I would advise women to eat those cruciferous vegetables. And then services that we offer may include what we call BHRT, or bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So instead of the usual synthetic hormones that uh, people get from their doctors, what we recommend are what we call plant-based or bioidentical hormones. These are hormones similar to what our body produces
Right.
compared to synthetic ones. So they're safer for use. In
That's
fact,
good, doc.
yeah. So for women who would like to learn more about anti-aging and, of course, balancing your hormones as you age, there's a couple of books by Suzanne Summers, and it's called The Sexy Years, as well as Ageless. So she talks
Right.
about bioidentical hormones there too.
Right. So doc, that's for the women, and on the other hand, for our male audience, what is it
Ye-
that they should really maximize when they go to the clinic for prevention, for proactive approach?
Yeah,
Ano naman po
we
yung para sa kanila?
yeah. So first we have to screen if there's any hormonal imbalance in men. We do give them it's called an ADAM questionnaire for androgen deficiency in aging males. So if they answer yes to two of the questions, they possibly have testosterone deficiency. So if that's possible, then we test them for the a complete set of hormone panel, and then if they are deficient in testosterone, we correct it using testosterone or what we call HCG.
So you know what, doc, I'm listening to you, and when you answer, you really are following the pillars that you're saying. You start off by really
Thank
sticking to the diagnosis
you.
and really sinabi mo kanina, we check you out first. We check you
Mhm.
out first. We check you answering all these tests. And then you recommend first the food. You check the
Yeah,
diet first. You want us to
very
detoxify
good.
first.
Yeah,
And then after that, then you recommend. Then you
exactly.
recommend. So it's a good thing that, as the head of this facility, of this clinic, it comes naturally to you to stick to your pillars. And that's really very comforting to know that there is a comprehensive approach and consistent approach when it comes to what you're offering.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So excited na ako, Doc. So is there anything else, Doc, that that you want a lot of people? You said again, educating people. What is it during this time of COVID? The vaccine is about to come in already. What else should we be mindful of when it comes to, being more proactive,
Mhm.
specifically with our situation with the COVID pandemic?
Yeah. First off, I think it's important to really improve your knowledge about the COVID or the pandemic itself, because if we're getting a lot of like negative news, and that adds up to the fear, and fear actually lowers or suppresses the immune system. So first thing off, I would like people to not watch the news or mainstream news. Detoxify the brain. Detoxify the brain.
Detoxify the brain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so that one. And then, of course, the basics that we discussed earlier, like a good diet, enough water, enough exercise, rest, sleep. And then, of course, take supplements that we recommend for prophylaxis. This
Right.
consists primarily of zinc, vitamin C, D3, and a nutrient called quercetin. This is my anti-COVID formula.
Nako, iinom ano ba 'to, Doc? IV ba 'to? Iniinom ba 'to? Ite-take ko na 'yan.
It's oral, just oral
It's
supplement.
oral.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. So I think it's very important. A lot of people, again, I like how you approach things because unlike other doctors, they'd be saying, "Oh, you have to take this or take that to be able to make sure you take the vaccine." And all. Of course, all of those things are
Mhm,
important, but you
mhm.
emphasize first and foremost with strengthening the
This,
immunity. And
exactly.
actually, second pala yun, you started off by strengthening the mind first, detoxify the fear, take the fear out, so you can think properly in the middle of this pandemic. So
Yeah.
again, I admire that about you, Doc. So thank you for that, because you are correct that a lot of people are really very scared
Hmm.
of what's happening. So yun, Doc. So again, thank you so much for for that.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I think we're getting signal from Ralph.
I know we have questions coming in. So again, to all of the viewers watching us, please let us know if you have questions, because ako, Doc, I really have a lot of questions answered already, and I'm pretty
Thank
sure
you, thank
that
you.
our friends would have questions also. So if you have questions coming in, eto na. Hi, Miss
Yeah.
Erica. Why is wellness important to you? I think more than anything, Doc, at this point in my life, wellness is very important for me because I'm already a parent. I'm already a mother. So I think I have to set a good example to my children on how they should be taking care of themselves early on so they can live a full life. They can maximize their lives the best possible way. But when I was single, Doc,
Uh-huh.
wellness is very important for me para masaya.
So
In
you've been
general,
naturally, you've
yeah,
been
yeah. So
naturally into it. So that's good. That's good to hear.
yeah. So that's really very important for me.
And,
So for Doc Joel, is HBOT safe for pregnant women? That's a
wow,
good question, Doc.
this is the first time I'm hearing that type of question for HBOT. Normally, we don't recommend that for pregnant women. Yeah, but after they give birth, okay lang, because it'll help them heal quickly, especially if they have any incisions. So that's why we do recommend HBOT after any type of surgical procedure, because it actually quickens the healing process.
Right. Because it
Yeah,
has something to do with balancing the oxygen in the body, right, Doc?
yeah, yeah,
And of course, oxygen and all that is really very crucial for healing.
exactly.
So that's good. Doc, this is for you. Can you tell me more about regenerate, Doc? Can you tell me more about regeneration?
So regeneration, basically, we want our cells to keep on multiplying, but at a certain point only, because if you keep on multiplying, it could lead to tumors. So what you want to do is make sure that you try to uh, improve the function, or improve the function of the organ. And when you say regenerate, what you want to do is rejuvenate those organs, make them function as it was when you were at a younger age. And that's why
Right.
recommend those therapies that I did mention earlier, the use of peptides, hormones, even cell therapies, which may be frozen or fresh.
So we want to go back to the original state when you
Yes.
talk about regenerating. All right. Hi, Doc. What services do you offer in early detection?
Yeah. So, of course, besides the usual blood sample, we do something called OG scan, which is the test that would test for heavy metals or mineral deficiencies. Because a lot of Filipinos have high mercury levels. This is because of our environment, and it comes from fish primarily. A lot of seafood are contaminated with mercury. So, another service, what we call med scan, it checks for heart rate variability. Basically, it's checking how your immune or your autonomic nervous system is functioning. So with
Right.
this, it could also tell what your biological age is.
That's
And
awesome, Doc.
yeah, you should check it out when you come to the office.
Doc, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your biological age?
uh, well, the last time I checked, it was 7 years younger.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really great. So I'm really very excited to know my biological age, and I'm really very excited to maximize all of these services and
Yeah.
share
Thank
with
you.
everybody, with my humble followers, the education and the information is
Yeah.
that the clinic is all about.
Thank you.
So, so the wellness, we approach health and wellness in a very proactive and a very preventive way.
Yes.
Grabe yung mga tanong, no, Doc?
Well, yeah.
Like very, very specific also. So really, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people really want to be more mindful about how they treat themselves moving forward, again, especially with where we are in this pandemic situation.
Yeah. So I think Ralph, are you there?
It has been, to be honest, this has been really very informative to me, Doc. So again, thank you so much because I learned a lot. I understand better what I've learned when I went to the clinic, and I know now that really, of course, in our heads we know that prevention is always better than cure. But with the technology that we have right now, there is a
Mhm.
very, very accurate way or specific way to approach health and wellness strategically.
Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much, Erica, because you've been a great host.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Doc.
sometimes I feel uncomfortable, but with you, it's like you're just there. People feel comfortable with you. Yeah, so thank you so much for gracing our event for tonight. And if you have anything to promote, please do so.
No, I just, guys, just follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. It's at Padilla Erica. And I also on Facebook, it's Erika Padilla Official. And of course, follow Dr. J. Lopez because we will be sharing with you a lot of ways to approach health and wellness the preventive and the proactive way.
Great. Thank you so much again, Erica, and I'll see you on Friday.
I'll see you, Doc. See you on Friday.
Have a good night.
Good
When
night.
someone
and good night to
asks you,
everyone.
"How are you doing?" you mostly say, "I'm doing well." But how well are you really? Wellness is a practice of healthy habits on a daily basis. We need this to have better physical and mental health instead of just surviving. Thrive. At Jlopezmd Medical Group, we take control of your wellness. From early detection to system distress, to restoration of your body, down to regenerating you. We got you.